no turn signal or brake light on the right hand side in the back. And tail light's working fine. Reverse light is working fine. Turn signal and brake light, which is the same bulb, not working at all. On the dashboard, it's flashing real fast. On the right hand side, left hand side is working normal. So it's just blink, 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 blink real fast on the right hand side. That tells you it's either not getting power or ground to the right hand side, or you have a blown bulb. At this point, it's pretty safe to assume that we have a blown bulb in the back of this truck. And I can drive a filthy car, but I cannot work on a filthy car, so I'm cleaning it up, and the customer gets to kill two birds. There's two tabs on the inside of this lens. And once you get the lens loose, it kind of opens like a hinge. So you get it about an inch apart here, and it should pull straight out. You want to know these things so you don't force anything or break anything. But you'll see what I mean when I open this up. And the screws that you want to loosen, you want to pull out. Take these screws all the way out. This one and this one down here. It's the only tool you need for this job. Phillips head. Pull that out. You got a nut driver. And I'll show you what I mean. As you can see, this is loose now. Turn it like that. Pull it straight up. Now we're going to disconnect this circuit board from the actual lens. This is just the lens. This is where all the power is. And to do that, you have a nut right there. And you have one right there. We're also going to disconnect this little harness here. And if you go up under here, I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't see my monitor. You pull up on this tab here, and as you're doing that, that'll free it up and just pull it straight out. But don't pull it by the wires. Pull it by the plastic piece. You have access to your bulbs. The bottom one is backup. The middle one is both the brake light and the blinker to turn signal. And the top one up here is just your running lights for when you turn your headlights on. So tail lights, turn signal and brake light. It has two elements in it. And the bottom one is reverse light. If on your vehicle it is a bulb, when you pull these bulbs out, pull them out, get a pair of needle nose pliers and pull them out from the bottom black part. This bulb does not disconnect from that black foundation there. So you want to grab the black foundation and pull it out. Just kind of wiggle it out back and forth until it pulls right out. And before you put a new bulb in, check the grime and everything else in the connections. Otherwise you're going to just keep on blowing bulbs. You might want to buy a new circuit board. These are 2 for $30 at your local parts store. But it is important because you don't want to you don't want to pull the bulb out while the black part's in there. Comprende? Alright. Here's another issue. There's a rubber gasket that sits down in there, and you want to make sure this gasket is in correctly. You don't want to you don't want to force it in if it's not in there correctly, because you don't want the last thing you want is water getting into this circuit board or these bulbs. And the easiest way to do this is to put the gasket on this part first, before you lay that circuit board down, and then just put the circuit board in place and screw it on down. See, that you want this around that area. Okay? That is important. It's all these little details add up. There's nothing wrong with that bulb. Just take a good look at the circuit board, make sure no wires are broke. See how fast that is. You got no blinker going. Go in and turn the running lights on. See if they work. And they do, so you can see that element in that bulb. There's nothing broken on it. It's working, so the turn signal should be working. But it isn't. So it also tells you that the actual circuit board is working. But we're going to take the one off the left side and put it over here and see if we get a turn signal. And we're going to take this one and put it over there and see if it works over there, and that'll further diagnose what's going on here. And I took the one off the right side, passenger side, the motherboard, and put it over here, and it's working fine. So that tells you there's nothing wrong with this bulb and there's nothing wrong with this motherboard. Now we're gonna put, I didn't take the whole thing apart. This is the driver's side, and we're going to connect it to the right side and see if it works and see what happens. Alright, we got nothing. The blinker's on and the dashboard, turn signal, whatever you want to call it. And it's still blinking really fast, and we still got nothing here. So, as you can see in the front, it's blinking really fast. So, here's the issue. We're not getting, it's either a bad ground or no power getting to the middle bulb. So now we have to trace wires, and we have to find out there's got to be a burnt or broken disconnected wire somewhere along the line, just for the turn signals, because the running light, the backup lights work good. And once again, the turn signal and the brake light are the same bulb. Are you with me? This is the one that was on the right side that wasn't working, and it works fine on the left side. This works fine when it's connected to the left side, but it does not work when it's connected to the right side. Next step. So on this wiring on this board, we have a dark brown wire right there. We have a light green wire. We have a green wire, and we have a black wire. And that black wire is the ground to the whole issue. Alright. turn signal light on the front. It's just 4 little screws there. No big deal. Phillips heads. We'll just take them all the way out. And this whole thing with the frame, with the black frame around here, will simply fall down to here to where you can access the bulbs. What you need to do is push these tabs in and turn counterclockwise. Push in and turn that way. These bulbs, you just push in. I can't do this with one hand, but push in toward the foundation there and just turn the bulb counterclockwise. It's going to be a little bit tough, but be careful not to break it, and just push in and turn left. I got a lot of grease on this. It's normal for these guys to put grease on these when they... I actually wiped a lot of this off. If you look straight into the connection, there's a ton of grease in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a ton of it, and I'm not sure it's making a great connection. So we're going to clean all that grease off both of these, and it might be causing a bad signal to the back. I don't know. Here's the other one. Look at it. I know this grease conducts electricity, and it shouldn't be the problem, but sometimes it is. And that is a freaking mess in there. And I cleaned up that one and put it back in, and it's not the problem, but we're gonna do this one, see what we get, and go from there. So that's not it. But at least it's eliminated from the equation here. Alright, your fuse box on this car is on the driver's side. Open up the door and you'll see this puppy here. And just pull that up. Boom, and you can look right here and see that brake light is number 18. So, although both brake lights would be out if this fuse was out, we're going to check it anyway. It's a 10 amp. It's that red one right on the end there. We're going to pop that puppy out and see if it's broken. Fuse looks good. You'll be able to see it if it's busted. Just hold it up to the light there, and you'll see that it's broken if it ain't working. This fuse is fine. Alright, turn VU is number, what the hell was it? It's a 20 amp bulb. Turn VU 16, which is 15, 16. Why is there a 30 amp in there? It's supposed to be a 20 amp. Huh. Let's make sure this, yeah, it's supposed to be a 20. Somebody put a 30 amp in there. Why would they do that? Alright, it's not the fuses. That is eliminated. So now it's pretty certain to be a broken, disconnected, or burnt wire somewhere. And it's a matter of tracking it down and finding it. So we have connections all the way from the turn signal all the way to the back of the car, and a series of connections in between. We have to locate them and check them. The car was recently worked on. They put a gearbox in the steering mechanism column gizmo thingy, and the turn signal and brake light on all sides were working fine before I took it there. So I think they may have pinched a wire or forgot to connect something. We're going to get on the net of inner, and and check out a schematic so I can see exactly what I'm looking at front to back. We're in the back up under the bumper, and we're kind of on the left hand side. You see this right here? That's for a trailer, when you hook a trailer up, so that's how the brake lights and everything on the trailer will work. There's a T unit here. And this bracket was cocked in sideways. This clip down here was broke. That comes off. It runs to both your left and right lighting units on the back end. Spent about an hour tracking this down from the front of the car all the way down to the back until I found this half-ass connection here. And it was kind of hanging out of there on one side. So let's go see if we got action here. Alright. There you go, we have a turn signal. So the first thing to do after you eliminate the basics is track down all the wires. There's a bunch of connections all the way from the steering column where you turn the turn signal on all the way to the back of the truck. And so I just started pulling the wires apart in pieces, you know, from this connection to that one, and just looking at them. And finally I got to the back one, and it was just halfway cocked in there. I don't know why or how it happened, but the clip itself is not tightening onto the other piece of the clip. So anyway, this problem is solved.